I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video we'll practice what we have learned about sketching sinusoidal functions. I would like you to pause the video, copy the question, sketch the graph, and then look into my sketch. The question here is sketch a graph of at least one cycle of f of x equals to minus 2 sine 4x plus 3. Now the strategy which we have learned is kind of like this. First step for us is to find the axis. You can straight away read the axis, right? So axis for us is y equals to 3. Once you get the axis, then you look for maximum and minimum. Maximum is axis plus or minus the amplitude. Since it is negative, we will say maximum will be absolute value you have to add here is 3 plus 2, which is 5, and then check minimum, which is 3 minus 2, which is 1. So these are your y scale. These define the y scale. Once you have this information, you know what scale to use. So it's all about using correct scale. So I have got so many divisions. Maximum is 5. So 1, 2, 3. I can't go, so I have to go by ones, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is what I have. Now once we have the axis, it's good practice to draw the dotted line to indicate the axis itself. So this is my axis, which is at 3. Then we have maximum and minimum. So I'm again drawing maximum minimum dotted lines just to indicate that that is my range and I don't have to overshoot, right? So my sinusoidal function is going to be within these limits vertically, right? Now let's analyze the horizontal part. So first and foremost is to find the time period. So time period हेलो हाँ जी क्या हाल है आपके कोई बात बात नहीं करिएगा हाँ हाँ करिएगा कोई बात और मैं 4 बजे से पढ़ाता हूँ तो उससे पहले हो जाए तो ठीक है नहीं तो फिर शाम को 7 बजे के बाद करेंगे आफ्टर 7 हाँ हाँ 8 बजे के बाद आप 8 बजे के बाद आते हैं ना 8:30 तब करेंगे डिस्कस दैट बी ग्रेट थैंक यू सर So for horizontal scale we need time period. So the time period is 2 pi divided by the k value, which is 4 for us. Those of you who are doing with degrees, they will do 360 divided by 4, correct? So in this case time period is pi by 2, right? So pi by 2 is the time period for us. Once you get the time period, you have to divide into 4 equal quarters, right? So next step is, let me write it in different thing. We want 4 quarters. Now why 4 quarters? Since sine functions, you know, in this case it is minus sine. So basically it is going to be kind of like this. Now, so when you have a function like this, it is very clear that all the critical points lie in 4 quarters, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There are 5 points, but 4 quarters, beginning from the origin, right? So these are the points we're looking for. First one is at the axis, right? And then minimum on the axis, maximum on the axis completes one cycle. So let's begin by identifying our scale. So what I do normally is first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. Do you see this? So this is my fourth quarter, and fourth quarter time period is pi by 2. So I'm writing pi by 2 straight away there. Obviously I have to divide this now, so it is pi by 4, and half of pi by 4 is pi by 8. So this is 2 times pi by 8, this is 3 times pi by 8. So easy to write. Do you see that? So it is fractions made simple. No one can give you better than this, I'm sure. So now this will be how much? Can you tell me that? 1 pi by 8, 2, 3, 4, 5 pi by 8. Do you see that? 5 pi by 8. Like this, you can get the scale perfect. Now let's look into the points themselves. Minus 2 sine plus 3. So we have taken care of maximum, minimum, but what we know here is it should move downwards, right? Starting with the axis at 3. So from the origin, our first point is at the starting point on the axis, then we hit the minimum, come back to axis. This is happening at each quarter, right? That is why we divided it into quarters. So I hope now you must be in a position to appreciate what I did, right? So likewise you could do. Once you have your points, join it not with a straight line. Don't make absolute or parabola, right? Just connect with sine curve, which is like concave up, change concavity to down, right? And then up again, right? Kind of. Do you see that? So that is how you have to go about. Clearly, we have one sine wave here, right? That is what we need. You need to label. So here on the y-axis, we have 3 as your axis, right? 5 as the maximum and 1 as the minimum, that is 0. That completes your graph. I hope these steps are absolutely clear. So follow these steps to sketch such functions. Now to practice, you could sketch a function g of x, and let me change this a bit. So let us say that it is minus 3 sine of 2x minus 1, right? So try to sketch this graph on your own following this method. I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.